Good evening, hobby family.
Good evening.
Hey, Chris, Corey, John, I'm Val. Hey guys, how are you?
Great.
Hello to all the viewers, listeners, whatever.
Got a hobby hangover going right now, right?
And then some.
Yeah.
I think we're getting Corey's going all witness protection on us with Wi-Fi signal.
So I don't know what we're going to talk about. I guess the national, but I don't know. Maybe the first to say that there's 358 days till the next national in Chicago.
Not like we're counting or anything.
No.
Hopefully, everybody will be healed up by then from this past weekend, restocked up on COVID tests.
And everybody has a great immune system.
It's a good thing I got my corona before the national.
Hey, man, before or after doesn't matter. Just as long as just as long as you were ready for game time, man.
Yeah.
And hi to everybody in the chat. Rich, card collecting addict. So that's rid of the 90s cards and 3B collection Herman.
So I want to get it right out of the way. Whoever had FOMO, don't worry about that, right? Because it was just a card show. Just a card show.
It's a big card show.
Big card show.
Autographs. Anybody get any autographs? I didn't even go to the...
I didn't either.
I don't collect autographs.
No.
Too cynical. I think everything's a fake.
Even from when they're right there in front of you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're the real way, Boggs.
Yeah.
The National is the one situation where I might grab an autograph. I usually feel awkward. Like I don't want to bother the person in their day, and just say, hey, man, appreciate your game or whatever it is, right? But they're there to sign an autograph. So, but I've never done it and wasn't able to go to the National this year due to work travel.
Whose autograph would you have gone for, Corey, if you had been there? Do you
know? So there was who were a few of the heavy hitters?
Chipper Jones was there. Wade
Ortiz.
We had a few good football players. I guess I saw pictures of Lawrence Taylor at like the collectible party.
Yeah, Beckham, I think, was there. It's rare to have a active football player because they're usually in camp, but obviously Beckham has some injury issues, right? So that was a rarity.
Yeah, LT. When you think of someone who is all time in their role, I guess Lawrence Taylor could be one of those guys.
True. Good point. Yeah, the lines seem like I guess there's one train of thought. Do you wait in line for an hour for an autograph when you could be out hunting? But it all depends on what you like, I guess. Or you could buy the autographs. You could buy the autographs off of any table. Everybody's autograph was available at that show. It seemed like, whether it's a ball or a flat or whatever, a card. There was some.
I saw where David Ortiz was charging $290 now flat, and I saw at a table an autographed David Ortiz rookie card for like $400. So the card itself is worth about $200. So.
Was he signing Hall of Fame 2022? I guess that was part of the catch if he was signing live, right?
You can get the inscription for extra.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. There are so many up charges. If it's a card or flat or equipment, and if it's rookie inscription on a rookie card or
left breast, right breast, whatever, right?
We don't have that kind of in NASCAR. Nobody charges, so
yeah, they still do that. And when do they do that? On Saturdays, they're usually out there signing NASCAR.
They'll usually during the week they'll do appearances at certain. If they have relationships with folks, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Planet Fitness with Joey Logano, so anything local, and Discount Tire with Brad Kozlowski, Walmart. I think
so. They won't go out by their merch trailers and sign there.
They do those on Saturday as well, yes.
Okay.
Usually if you go to the area where they have all that, and look at the haulers. They'll have the time that they're there. It's only probably an hour, but they'll be there Q&A, and you can always snag an autograph
and free, right?
Always free.
That's
yeah.
amazing. Boy, nobody. I don't think any sport has a better relationship with their fans than NASCAR. I would think. Can't name one.
I always hear, hockey is a close second, I think, but.
Yeah, but think about it. Just by nature, your hockey. When do you have the chance? You don't have the chance to see your hockey players out by the merch trailers on the day before race day, and
yeah,
it seems like nobody appreciates their fans more than the NASCAR.
Yeah, you can get down on pit road too, and while they're walking around and get autographs or go in the garage. But there's kind of a charge for that, but they're kind of free game there.
Is it David Ortiz money to get in there, or is it?
Usually just, I don't know, 100, 200.
I'd rather do that than get David Ortiz's autograph, right? Smell some gasoline.
But to your point, though, sometimes they'll do on Saturday, like the Chevy or Toyota, they'll have a few drivers come. And, of course, that whole pavilion kind of area, it's kind of like the National. You go sign up, you get hats or shirts or whatever, a little, chopkeys or whatever. So
swag.
Yeah.
What was the best?
PSA fan.
Did you get that this weekend?
Yeah.
So I was going to say, what did they hand out? Who had the best swag at the National? That's pretty impressive. The PSA fan, but
yeah, the PSA fan and the ComC had to scratch off. If you have a ComC account, I got $5. So I think every card is a winner or something.
I bought a ComC card today. Cost me an arm and a leg. It's a Rich Klein card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You probably bought them all up, right?
There's two of them. One for $57 and one for $573.
$57. That card? What?
Is it Rich?
It was a steal compared to the $573 one.
What was that, Chris?
Rich just gave me one for free. 57.
Everybody can be hitting Rich up now, trying to get their cards from Rich.
Telling you, the Corona fried my brain. I was doing all sorts of crazy stuff today, buying Rich Klein cards.
The first ComC card I ever bought was actually a Dr. Jim Beckett card from that 90s handout cards that they did at the National at mid
92, I think. Yeah,
I think that was
the same set. I think.
Okay, man, I got to get the Klein. You got to put them together.
Yeah.
Did anybody get the VIP? On 1 Million Cubs is asking about the free VIP autos and who they were.
Yeah, the free VIP signers were Ron Jaworski, who signs a lot of stuff. Greg Lazinski, who, if you go to a Phillies game and buy a barbecue sandwich,
he'll sign your roll.
Yeah. And Bernie Perrant, who I think if you move to the Delaware Valley somewhere, you will be issued a Bernie Perrant autograph. He signs a lot.
You can't buy a collection without there being a Bic pen autograph Bernie Perrant something.
Bernie Perrant, yeah.
Oh, that's
Thanks
so funny.
For that question there, Bo.
AI was there, I guess. I didn't see AI, but AI would have been fun. It's just tough because, like you said, these guys have to listen to every story about how you were my favorite player as a kid and yada yada. So
I wonder how many people go up to AI and just say practice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Must be
You're the
sick.
same shtick, right? But I'd say a slight kind of bummer. I know it's not Comic-Con, but there was that huge activation by Fanatics and Zero Cool around Stranger Things. Do you think they could even get like, hey, a B-level actor there from the show or something, right, to represent? But I'd love to have seen a Stranger Things appearance. But I hear it sounds like that cube was dynamic.
Yeah, the cube was pretty cool. It was faced with LEDs, so it was pretty interesting. It in the music and all that stuff in that little area that they had. I did not go through that, but I did see that V Friends, Stranger Things. I don't know how many times a day it would go off, but you hear the ticking of the clock and the music and everything else. So
that's like E3 stuff. I don't know whether you've ever heard of E3, but it sounds a lot like what goes on there. Activations on the hour or half hour. I avoided all the
There were
corporate
a
booths.
lot of companies that had set up that I had never even heard of before.
Right.
Well,
And
I'm not
I
going to
know
hear
there's
them
a lot
again.
of venture capital that's just kind of sloshing around through the hobby right now. And it just makes me wonder how many of these companies are going to be around in a couple of years.
Well, VCs don't hit a VC's percentage of hits is less than Mario Mendoza. Yeah. You know, if they do one out of 20, they're fine, right? They just need that big one. So,
and it's like, I don't even know what these companies do.
That's why I have to stop and ask.
Yeah, they're probably figuring it out. They're pitching something different to every person who walks up, trying to find what product market fit, and for their guinea pigs. But
which is interesting.
I think a lot of them are rolled up, consolidated, or disappear. So it'll be really interesting to see who shakes out. Probably one or two winners out of the whole bunch.
Usually how it shakes out.
So the hobby has to figure out what they want to do. Do they want to embrace technology and have god-awful Wi-Fi and cell service inside of a building, or do they want to shun the technology and go back to the books? I saw some books out or some magazines out for pricing and stuff like that. It can be done. I don't understand.
I had no problem with the Wi-Fi. I didn't understand.
Were you comping cards?
Complaining about.
Yeah, I my cell service was always fine, but I don't use I don't use my phone to comp cards, thankfully, because it's just buying different kind of cards. But
well, I don't know. My wife was texting me and wanted to know why I was in Miami. on Live 360, it was showing that I was in Miami,
that's
not New Jersey. So I was like, "Well,
you were by the beach, so."
Well, yeah. So I was like, I told her we flew down to Miami with Dr. Beckett's jet, and got some dinner and then flew back. So it's like, no, I'm in New Jersey. So
I'm sure somebody's luggage ended up in Florida, right? But,
I'm sure, yeah.
I had briefly thought about, I would have had about 16 hours at the National. Flew out Saturday to be there till Sunday, and it was ultimately the lodging and getting in and out of there just seemed like such a hassle for a one-day visit that it made it tough to fly in from Minnesota. I'm wondering what did you guys experience with like the lodging and transportation around the National?
Well, I live in Delaware. I just drove, so I had no problem with it. As for lodging, I just stayed at my uncle's house an hour away.
I drove down Friday morning, drove back Friday afternoon, and did the same thing on Sunday. Piece of cake. Loved it.
Well, flew into Philly. Brad actually rented a car, so Logan's son, me, and Brad, we drove down. That was fine. We stayed in shared accommodations in an older house. I think it was built back in the 1700s. And on the way back, I got to take 2 trains to the Philly airport, which actually was pretty cool because getting off that second train that had its own security. So I thought security was going to be tough, and there's like 5 people in front of me. Of course, I went on the earlier side, and I was able to make my flight. Logan went to the next flight, and he actually got bumped to the next day. Brad, he had some maintenance issues with some planes.
He got the full Philly treatment too, which is awesome. Poor Brad.
Yeah.
So, but the 2 trains in and through security, I think it was 2 something hours to get there. So, in addition to the flight, so. But as I said before, and on Saturday show, and I'll say I'm never going back to Atlantic City again, so I don't have to worry about that.
I'm sure a lot feel the same way. The dealers as well. So when will we?
I've been there twice, so
yeah. I mean, AC is a city that they've pumped billions of dollars into, but it's never gotten better. They built that great convention center and bridges and tunnels and all that stuff, and there's no middle class there. There's no upper class. It's all lower class people. They've never helped the people there, which baffles me. So it's been that way forever.
Well, I will say that it sounds like the Hobby Hotline crew, and not surprisingly, was as prepared as anybody. Had great plans in place. That just makes sense.
Hey, everybody had battle buddies, right? So,
Yeah.
Chris, get a test.
A lot of tests going around after.
Yeah.
I'm still getting over the post-corona cough. So,
But the brick pavilion was very busy. Pretty large area. The autograph pavilion was pretty large. Whatnot had a big presence. I saw. They had that arcade game or the Bob Space Racers with the horse racing and stuff, and so it took a lot of space.
and for all the complaining about it being in Atlantic City and it being hard to get to, the crowds came, people came.
Yep.
I mean, you could have. I think I mentioned this on our show on Friday. You could have the National in like Nome, Alaska, or Timbuktu. Collectors will come. So,
yeah, and I think what I heard was, and I understand why Friday was probably the busier day, and I attribute that to the shore rentals changing over on Saturday. Maybe people avoided it, and/or people on their last day or their second to last day of rentals hit the show. It's a lot easier for them to do that Thursday and Friday. So Saturday is a great time to avoid Atlantic City or the Atlantic City Expressway. So maybe that's why. And Sunday wasn't horrible.
Sunday was Sunday. Laid back. Get your deals.
Yeah.
You can
Did anyone attend?
Talk to people.
Anyone attend the official trade night that was on the floor? And did I hear that got shut down? Too many people?
I wasn't there.
It was in a pretty big room from the pictures I saw. I think it was in either another hall or a ballroom, but it looked like it wasn't. I saw pictures of last year. Last year, it looked like it should have been shut down because it was in a smaller meeting room type place. But I thought I saw pictures where it was in a pretty vast open hall. So
that's good. And then what about the experience, like hotel lobbies and pop-up trade nights going on everywhere? Same situation as Chicago?
It's only one hotel there, really. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the Sheraton is the anchor hotel there. Everything else is essentially on the ocean, which is probably about 4 blocks away and kind of scattered.
Yeah.
All the casinos. I heard there were ad hoc trade nights going on in some of the casinos, but again, I wasn't there, so I'm a local.
So Logan chimed in with an answer on the trade night that it sounds like they reached capacity and then couldn't let more people in, which makes sense.
Yeah, right. Capacity is capacity, right?
Yep.
So, anybody? I attended the Tops Q&A. That was good on Thursday night, I think it was. Wasn't sure if that was going to go on, so I don't know if you guys have ever been before. It's one of my favorite.
The old dog and pony show.
Yeah, does anything really get done there, though, Val? Or is it just, hey, look how great we are? Anybody ever have to get shut down by their microphone shut down or taken away from them? Or is it just...
No, I think everyone's just there for the food, the drink, and the giveaways.
So if you don't behave, you don't get a free card. That's essentially what it is, right? So everybody behaves.
Well, I mean, they were asking questions and talking about, some of the new product lines that are coming out. Their folks were pretty happy with the giveaway. You either got Bobby Witt or Franco, or was it Green or whatever? So probably can't say. But
it wasn't Franco. It was the other guy, Rodriguez.
Rodriguez was the other one. Yeah.
I think Franco is Wander done. Is Wander Mania over? Do we think? That's the first time I've heard his name
Pretty much
in a week.
You know what? I did not see a single Wander Franco Bowman's best card in 5 days.
How about
maybe I wasn't looking hard enough.
How about a Raymond? Did you see a Raymond? Raymond Wander card. And here's a question for you: how long is Tops and Fanatics had separate corporate booths, right?
They were next to each other, but
how long do you think that's going to happen, or do you think they'll always be separate?
I think they'll be separate because
they'll eventually consolidate. Want to mention something in the chat. Spirit of the 90s cards. 2024 National is rumored to come back to Cleveland, and that was a big story coming out. The big news coming out of this National is that there's going to be a new promoter for the National. John Brogy's contract, who's been the promoter, I believe, since 2005, was not renewed. So he's going to be promoting 2023. But for 2024, the new promoters are going to be the guys behind the White Plains Show and the East Coast National, and it'll be co-promoted by the guys that do the Philly and Chantilly shows. So, and the rumor and innuendo is 2024 will be in Cleveland, but not at the IX Center. I've heard it's going to be downtown.
Which would be awesome. I think that would be,
Center.
I think that would be awesome for several reasons. You got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there. Hotels are walking distance. You have the ballpark's not that far away, so I think that would be great.
And 2025 going back to Rosemont. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this new crew as far as venue selection over beyond 2025. Do they go past the Mississippi again? I know Brogy went on the record a couple of years ago and said he was never going to go back to Anaheim. Do we go back to Anaheim? Do we go to the South again? Do we go back to Atlanta or maybe a new market like Nashville? I've heard Indianapolis. I don't know about that if you're going to keep going back to Cleveland and Chicago. So maybe the National goes to new markets by the end of this decade. So,
well, let's go to this National. We're talking about cards we saw or didn't see. What did you guys pick up? Any pickups, favorite pickups from the show?
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
There was a lot of NASCAR that we saw than previous years, and we saw a couple of 88 Earnhardt promos, both fake, by the way. We proceeded to point them out, and one of the dealers said that he'd heard that before. So that
raises an eyebrow.
Yeah, there were a couple of we ran into about 3 pretty good or bad dealers. So, but
you and Logan have any competition for? I know there was a lot of cards there for you this year, but a lot of times there's not a lot of NASCAR. Do you guys ever butt heads or butt elbows over cards?
Not really. I don't think we've hit anything that we've gotten into that situation yet, but
it's coming.
Maybe we'll see.
There was a lot of high end cards there, Corey. I mean, a lot of Mickey Mantle, as usual, was everywhere and in mass volumes. Like some would have 2 or 3 display cases of Mantles slabbed, which is crazy. You know,
some of that crazy vintage stuff you just don't see. You know, you don't see it pop up on eBay. It just doesn't seem to move regularly. But then you show up, and it's everywhere, and you realize it's held, but it's not liquid, right? It's not out there in the market.
Yeah.
I heard the prices were high.
Yeah, people are
a
making
lot
deals
of 2021 pricing.
Just holding, wishing,
waiting. Yeah.
How was the modern scene? Chris, I guess you were looking at the modern stuff more so than I. How was that? How's that holding up?
It's holding up all right, I suppose. I mean, I went. One of my goals was to knock off another Pujols rookie that I don't have, or an Ichiro rookie that I don't have, and I really didn't find any Pujols or Ichiro rookies out there. I did pick up a lot of early 90s Donruss Elites that I'm almost finished with. But I mean, if you knew where to look, you could find some good deals.
Were you looking for graded specimens, or were you looking?
No,
for
I was looking for ungraded.
So are those typically hiding in display cases, or are they inside of 5,000 count boxes?
They're in a shoebox.
Shoebox. Okay, that's tough to find. That you got to do a lot of work to find those.
Yeah,
I mean, every vintage
place where you can find like shoeboxes full of 90s and early 2000s baseball inserts.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna pay a pretty penny for them, but you can find them. So.
Right. Every vintage table I was at was packed. Especially if you were a set builder, it was tough getting in there to get some commons and stuff like that. So vintage is strong, both in the high end stuff and in the lower stuff as well.
And then even in the modern, you had folks doing lots of trades, so they had their cases on the table and stuff sprawled out, and it was like you couldn't see into one or two display cases. So it was like wait or keep on going.
Still giggle when I see a boatload of shiny cards and the 61 mantle in the middle of it. Like, what's the story with that card? How did that end up in that guy's hands? It's crazy.
Because shiny, we saw a lot of F1, high dollar F1 stuff.
Do you think that's starting to wane a little, the F1 love, or is it still?
I would definitely say yes. I did pick up a few of the flagship boxes for 110, which is probably about cost, maybe a little less than cost. And I saw 2020, the lowest I saw was 2,400 a box, which I think that had gotten up to like $4,500 a box at the high. So that stuff's starting to come down. I think people moving on other stuff or whatever. So
yeah, there was every now and then you see some TCG as well, but it wasn't as prominent as I thought it would be, which I think is a good thing. But that's just me being selfish. I think there's a place and a time for those products that are served.
They have their own shows to go to in a way, right? So I saw that last year too, and I think it's just hard to break in because you're not going to go space near the front of the room. You're not going to get that premium spot, and perhaps they're choosing to go to their core events rather than be in the back of the national. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I want to pull up Logan's next comment about the mantle. Did any of you guys see the PSA 10 Mickey Mantle? Get a look at it.
Who had that out? Because Heritage had the 9.5, right?
Yeah.
Who was?
They have it, or
the 10 wasn't for sale though, if I recall, right?
Not yet. No.
What do you think is worth more? And what do you think is worth more? With that, not what do we think? Just your opinions. What is worth more? Not what will go for more, but I think the SCC because of the Al Rosen connection.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. But
I think so too.
I'm not familiar with the D-backs collection. What's the D-backs collection? Is that one of the players or?
It's the owner of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
All right.
Ken Kendrick.
Gotcha.
He actually bought his PSA 10 mantle, I believe, from Tom Candiotti, who was his radio announcer. So
wow.
I think Candiotti bought it for like $100,000 in the late 90s when he was right at the end of his career. So
smart guy, huh?
Smart guy.
And it seemed like everybody was selling a vault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we need a Hotline vault.
So
I'm here in Delaware, no sales tax.
Yeah.
Come on down.
So with the love of this 9.5 and this 10, do you guys think that there's going to be a push for a modern card to get up into that stratosphere, the $10 million range? Do you think that that's how the market's going to react? Because it seems to have, that seems to be the way it goes, like a ping pong effect, vintage, modern. Do you guys foresee a modern card?
Is there a one of an active player that can go for
I don't know.
$10 million?
Yeah.
There's
a
a lot
2009 Trout that sold. How much did that sell? 4 or 5 a couple of years ago.
There's a good number of LeBron one-of-ones from '03, but they're locked up, and I think they're like a decade away from coming out to market. So that's probably not the one, but it could be. I think it really goes up when the 10 sells. In my opinion, the 10, people love the 10, even though the 95's got the story. But that one's going to be 20+ million, and that's really going to drag up some of those premium modern cards too.
Yeah.
Whether it's like the Curry limited Curry, or something like that. It'd be interesting to see.
They're different markets, though, aren't they? Don't you think the person buying the Mantle is probably different than the one buying the LeBron, but unless it's for pure investment.
Headlines. Yeah, it's headlines that draws in the investors that want the next thing but don't want the old one in some cases.
When does that auction end? Do we know?
End of the month, I think.
End of August? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then how many people get bought, pay a premium for these fractional companies so that they can sell the fractional shares? We haven't seen that in a while where we went through a phase where some of these were being sold.
Yeah, there really wasn't a presence from fractional companies at the National this year. I don't know if you noticed that.
Isn't the whole premise to buy low and sell high in fractionals? That doesn't seem the right thing to do in buying the most expensive card ever.
Yeah.
Right, but then you're holding it for 10, 20 years or whatever, right? So what's this meant to be?
Yeah, I don't know.
If that's the case, buying the Wagner or whatever years ago and how they've appreciated. So
yeah, some of us feel that. I mean, there has the ceiling has to be met eventually, but I guess not. Just freaking cardboard, right? It's crazy.
always comes down to that.
Yeah.
It's a challenging environment, I think, to be a fractional when the market is so unpredictable, because you have to get your valuation typically a couple months in advance to bring it to market, and you're worried that that valuation is going to be 30% too high in 2 months when things are so uncertain. That's part of the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, a $10 million card is really a $12 million card with the buyer's premium, right? Or whatever, unless we want to factor, I don't know. If you're paying 10, you're paying 12, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what people will be talking about in the final bid is the total with the VP.
Okay.
It's likely.
How else are all these other folks going to be able to say, they own a mantle or part of a mantle?
But they don't. That's the thing.
You don't know.
They don't,
That's what they say.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's like buying a share of stock. I own a share, it's B stock instead of A stock, but
It's like somebody naming a star after you. It just doesn't matter, right?
well, I got an acre on the moon too. So
Yeah, exactly. Good luck with that, man. Enjoy.
They're making people lords in Scotland by giving them a square inch of land or property. And it sounds a lot like NFTs to me. I don't know, but
Yeah.
to get in trouble. So PSA August 1st came and went, and the $18 a month discount is there. Do you think we see another promo, another discount, and will it possibly go lower this fall? What do you guys think?
I think it depends on the turnout for the 18. I think that was,
Are they going to get buried in cards again?
Yeah. So everybody needs to hold off sending, and they'll drop it. But
Aren't they still buried in cards? Everybody's not gotten their card back yet.
Yeah, they say they're going to be caught up by October. So what happens then if they are dedicating 80% of staff? I would think a discount's coming. I think that kind of hurts them, this anticipation of a discount coming, because man, if you're thinking about submitting a card at $30, but it's possibly 15 or 14 come October, I'm probably going to wait a couple months.
well, the turnaround time I think was 180 business days.
Mm-hmm.
$18. So
Yeah, that was the perfect storm, right? Basketball was as high as it'll ever be, or as high as it'll be in a while. So I think that drove a lot of those submissions, and I don't see it. I don't see him get. I think enough people learn their lesson that they won't get overwhelmed. I'm talking about submitters, not the grading companies, because a lot of people got burned in various different ways by the mass submissions. And talking about that, what was the big Beckett announcement that we missed? Wasn't there supposed to be a big announcement from Beckett? There were no big announcements this weekend, right?
Yeah, we were expecting John to talk about.
They supposedly were going to unveil their new slab,
right?
And they kind of sort of did, but they didn't.
That was a PR mess there,
yeah.
right? You getting in Twitter spats with people, over the graphics in your own booth, right? The promotional material in your own booth clearly showing a new flip on there, and then somebody from Beckett saying that's not it. That's not
that's not it. No.
Label. Oh, what's the point? Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I don't know what there were no big announcements, which is fine because that's not. I'm of the opinion that that's not what the National should be about. It should be about the hobby, not who can stick their chest out the biggest, the puffiest.
The other thing I heard was Joe Orlando was going to Heritage.
And they can afford him now, right? That buyer's premium on that mantle.
In a way, doesn't it feel like the biggest announcement should come a couple months after National? Because that's where everyone gets together. It's like when GMs get together at these camps for kids for the NBA or whatever. That's where all the trades and early talks come out of, because you're making stuff happen just with getting those folks in person.
Like at the industry summit or something.
Right.
Like that.
See, that's perfect for that. But the industry summit's run by Beckett, right? It's really not an independently. Is PSA and SGC at the industry summit? Do they have corporate presence there?
Yeah.
Sorry, my printer's running.
It's a good question.
Yeah, you do your postmortems. Maybe you listen to your customers. You go back to Dallas or Santa Ana or West Palm Beach or Boca Raton, whatever it is, and think it all up again. SGC, as usual, I think is in the best position just to keep doing what they're doing. They don't have to really pivot right now.
Absolutely.
They're delivering for a relatively fair price and gaining momentum.
They really impressed as that alternative to PSA, and it does feel like they're surging into that second preferred spot in the hobby for things. But so I coming back from my work trip on Saturday morning, I was bummed that I wasn't doing the Nationals. Had FOMO from seeing everybody's posts and seeing how many people showed up and crowded it was. But then my spirits were lifted just by something awesome. A fellow collector had sent me a package, Rob England, the wrestling card king, and I opened it, and it was a Vern Gagne from 1973. And this was really special to me because Rob knows that my grandfather often got confused. We're in Minnesota, where Vern also lived, would get mistaken for Vern Gagne all the time. In fact, once at the dog track, he was told to stand up and wave to the crowd, and they made an announcement that Vern Gagne was in attendance. So I have a connection there, and he knew that, and had one of these graded and sent to me. And so that was really a great thing when the hobby has ways of picking you up when things don't work out your way. Yeah. So that was great.
Cool.
That's awesome.
What card is that?
Who made that? Yeah.
Yeah. So these are really unique. And is it a card or not? It's the 1973 Wrestling Annual. Some people call Andre the Giant's rookie comes out of this, and it's really a magazine. So magazine cutouts. They are called trading cards, like on the front of the magazine, which is, I think, what gives them a little bit of leeway. But really, they're magazine print, and they're all this black and white. Most of them are pretty yellowed like this. And the pictures are great. Like the Andre one has Andre is standing, and he's got an outlet very visible right behind him, and the kind of things that they wouldn't include in trading cards today. But it's so laissez-faire that is just kind of fun that these pictures are that way. So they're pretty collectible, and it's definitely one of my favorite Burns. And he did send me another one too that I hadn't seen before. It's a 91 All-American card, kind of from his college wrestling days, I think. So that's sweet. NCAA champ.
Where do you go to school? Iowa or something?
That's a good question. I thought he went to Minnesota.
Okay.
Minnesota has a strong wrestling tradition, obviously. A number of champions there. Most recently, Gable Stevenson, who was also a gold medal winner and just signed with WWE. So his rookies are in this current Prism set. But Minnesota.
You went to Minnesota, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any wrestlers signing at any of these nationals?
No, there was a big event in Nashville over the weekend. They had WWE had SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, okay.
But there was also Conrad Thompson's Starcast as well. So with Ric Flair's last match on Sunday. So everyone was in the wrestling world was in Nashville for the weekend. So
woo!
Are you tuning in?
Yeah, how come nobody calls in anymore?
yeah.
I don't know. I put it in chat. We'll see.
Have to give away something?
Do we have to whore ourselves out like that? To get people to call in.
Yeah. Give away. I got a 91 Flair set for the first person who calls in. Factory. Or binder, your choice.
I'll throw in a 91 Donruss set.
There you go. See who
Unwrapped, still wrapped.
Still wrapped.
Well, here's another hobby gift that I received recently, and it came from my friend Jason. I'll explain the story here in a second. But she is 5'4", 105 pounds, a Sagittarius. This is a little-known card of Britney Spears from the 90s. It came from Jive Records. Publication really hard to track down. She's just a kid in the picture, but Jive Records, her label had put out a set of promotional cards, and you can get these created. So that was fun. And but no, I was super excited because I hadn't found one of those, and I have been looking. But my friend Jason Eng, who I've known from Instagram and never met before, had plans to come to the Twin Cities, and I hosted him and showed him around with his son and my son, and they've done Zoom live breaks with each other during the pandemic. And so we really have a pretty tight friendship just via, Instagram lives and private chats and stuff. But to get to hang out for a day and a half and then, get to show him around my city, it was a blast.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But then we exchanged some cards, and I got him a Pokemon card that we both kind of like, and he got me a Britney, so that's pretty fun.
That's one of probably the best thing about the hobby is people giving people other cards. It's you can have a great collection, but give somebody else something is just phenomenal.
Yeah, they matter. They just matter so much more, those cards in your collection, knowing they came from that collection for sure.
So we have.
Oh man, I have to send a 91 Flair to Hawaii.
No, you don't need to send it.
Hold on, Dylan. Hold on.
Oh, let me turn my AC off. It's probably loud. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Good to be on here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
How are you?
I definitely had some FOMO watching everybody's videos. Man, that looked like a blast.
There you go, buddy.
Pretty awesome. Well, okay, so I'm looking. Okay, I got the TV on. I can't tell what I look like. Am I blurry? Oh, yeah, I'm blurry. That's all right.
You're fine. Everybody's small on the screen anyway, so.
Okay, right on.
Dylan's
so
awesome.
What's going on? A few of you guys went to the National, yeah?
Yes.
Yep. Top row went to the National.
Bottom row did not.
Bottom row did not. You have any plans to go to the National next year, Dylan?
Yes, I'm definitely going next year. I'm really looking forward to it. I know
fun.
It's a year out, but it feels like I'm like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, right, for sure. It happens quickly, though, right? I mean, it happens real quick.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So, hey, thank you guys for doing these hobby hotlines on Tuesday. I just wanted to say thanks because I really enjoy them. I look forward to them. can't get to watch all of them, but it's something I really look forward to taking part of. Just being in the chat is pretty awesome.
Is it lunchtime out there?
It's like 3:30, 4
Okay.
o'clock.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So, Dylan, what do you collect that you be looking for in Chicago?
Vintage. So I've got some, I've got a big vintage collection, and I want to save up my money for next year and get some big guys, because I kind of just do a bunch of the base cards and some rookies, but I don't have a lot of the huge stuff. So that's where I'm at. I'm with John, like the 70s, all that stuff too.
He's got a great collection and a great YouTube channel. It's really fun to watch.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Sure.
What's the YouTube channel?
Double D Vintage Baseball Cards.
Sweet.
Yep.
I'll be in Chicago. Look forward to meeting you next year. I wouldn't miss it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
He built that card room, by the way, but that's his craft handiwork there, building
That's
that
pretty
card
nice.
room. So
Yeah, I got other collections too. My wife saved her collections as a kid too, so those are up. And then I got my personal kid collection up here too, Legos and all that stuff.
you don't have your lights on though.
No, I was just trying to get them on really fast. So I wasn't expecting to go on here, but I couldn't get them running.
He's got LED lights in that thing and all that. So, and you're making your little single slab holders, right? Your single slab frames.
Yeah, I got them right here. I was actually going to film that later. I got the giveaway tonight.
Nice.
So after you guys are done, I'm going to do some giveaway, I think.
When's the last?
Yeah.
You have submitted to SGC, right, Dylan?
Dude, I love them. I get them back in like 4 days now.
Which is crazy for Hawaii, right?
It's
absolutely
crazy.
Nuts.
So yeah, I'm a huge fan of SGC now. I never did any grading before. I never turned anything in. I had 3 cards graded my entire life. Way back in the day, I gave them to a shop. But doing the SGC thing the last few months has just opened my eyes to it, and I love it. I'm absolutely loving it.
That's a SGC box to your left there, is it not?
Yeah, it is actually.
There you go. Yep.
And right there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Chris submits, but I think Val, are you part of the PSA gang, Val?
For the most part, yeah.
How about you, Corey?
Yeah, I'm probably PSA is my favorite, but SGC is really close. Like I said, they earned my respect as I started using them when I just couldn't get cards graded and I wanted my cards in slabs. The experience was awesome working with them, and the cards I think the slabs look great with the cards, and the price was right. Now I'm kind of interested to see what happens with the price. It's still at $30 right now, right?
We're 25 if you do a group. Yeah.
It seems a little expensive to me too. I mean, if PSA is 18, they got to lower, right?
Yeah, but half a year versus
yeah, totally.
10 days,
5
right?
days.
And the $99 membership fee, and
Absolutely.
yeah, the upcharge or the lack of, you can only use certain. There's no thresholds for SGC.
It's kind of stuck. I think a lot of us are stuck right now with all these cards that are worth $10, vintage cards, 15 that you're not going to pay $30, or even to me, I wouldn't even pay 15.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come back. I think that $10 is going to be around the corner one day again. I think that someone's going to figure it out. There's 3 big guys or 4 big guys now. And I think that's going to open the floodgates for someone like me who would love to get all these raw vintage stuff graded. The inexpensive stuff. Since I wasn't on the program before when it was $10, so I missed out.
I've got a lot of cards to grade, but I don't want to grade them just to get them graded. They can sit in the boxes behind me.
Yeah,
50.
I want to get them graded. I like to have them graded.
Yep.
Just for.
Then I got to clear out room for them in the display case, which is another drag. I had to demote somebody yesterday, which was a shame, but it goes in the display case into a shoebox. Sorry, pal, but it happens when you get a 34 Lefty Grove. I have to keep that out. I had to put the 33 Gaudy away.
I feel you there.
Designated them for assignment.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, I gotta pop off, but I just want to say thank you and glad to go live with you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, Dylan, I'm gonna hit you over the head with this when I see you next year in Chicago. All right.
Yeah, take that thing. You got it.
You get them all slabbed too.
I don't want to store that over here.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
Thanks,
Guys,
Dylan.
take care.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan's awesome. But
Yeah, it's pretty nice display room.
Yeah. I mean, it's Hawaii doesn't have a lot of room. I'm fortunate that I have a lot of room in my now COVID cave, but my card cave, and they have to make their outdoor livers there in Hawaii, so indoor climate controlled space is limited. So because they go on the breeze, they don't want air conditioning and stuff like that there. So got to be tough to collect so far away from the rest of the hobby, I would think.
Yeah, I wonder what the contingent is like there. For sure, I might have to do an exploratory trip and find out if they have nice card shops.
Even a hobby shop out there.
Yeah, Australia, talking about far away, but they seem to have a really good little collector niche going on in Australia.
Yeah.
Mostly basketball, or what do they have going on there?
Basketball, non-sport, all kinds of stuff. I'm surprised at the number of orders that I ship through the eBay International that end up going over to Australia, or listings that I want to buy but are in Australia. That's what cost me $80 to ship it here too. So,
right,
interesting stuff.
So let me ask you a question, Corey. Are you on any PSA registries with your non-sports cards? Does PSA do that? Or
it was I just talked with them about 6 months ago, possibly putting together sets of that. And what they'd need is to have like official lists. You could do something like find a magazine ranking where they ranked the top 50 people on Instagram by follower count or something. So you could create a registry off of that. You could do things like the most, Rolling Stones, most iconic artists of the 20th century. And so you could use those lists to ultimately craft some lists. So that's on my to-dos for sure. I'd love to set up some of those. But I've done it with TCG. I set up a set list for the first time for a rare TCG set. But yeah, non-sport, they're open to it. And I just haven't had the time.
You can be the Logan Ward of non-sports PSA registry stuff, man, if you play your
I think that's cool. I will say on one minor just sort of thing that it really wasn't even a big announcement, but Zero Cool did put together in coordination with Card Ladder an index of what they considered 51 iconic well-selling non-sport cards. That's part of Card Ladder's collection registry things. I love the idea of it. I would say there's probably way too many doubles. Like get Josh Luber's ear at some point and say, man, do we need 2 Snoop Dogg cards? Do we need like 6 Jay-Z's? Maybe have like one of each of those individuals, because there's a lot of great non-sport cards. And I'd love to see, Disney or Elon Musk or some of those other cards pop up in that CL, Card Ladder 51 or whatever they're calling it for non-sport.
Anybody have a Luber sighting at the National?
Supposedly he was there, but he wore a hoodie and a
as usual
baseball hat.
Okay.
Tucked down. So
surprised he's still around, huh?
It's like he was invisible and hard to get to. Last year, I feel like Ken Golden was very visible and very hard to get to because he had a giant bodyguard with him the whole time. And I did eventually get to just say hello for a minute, but the bodyguard, I thought for a second, was going to knock me over.
It's crazy, huh?
But yeah, Luber, he can go undercover pretty easily with the hoodie.
Yeah, fits right in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unlike somebody like Ken or Al Rosen back in the day who stood out, and as you say, they're visible.
Larger than life, yeah, and but that's kind of cool. Luber sort of wants to get in and collect, for sure. I think he does love the hobby and loves collecting, from what I've seen.
I did see Gary Vee was there, and he had a little autograph line that seemed like was there all day, about 30, 40 deep.
Was he charging?
I don't think he was charging, but they're all coming up and getting autographs and taking photos and that kind of stuff.
Signing invisible ink. Did he sign your NFT in invisible ink?
Not mine, no. But I had gone over there to talk to Lou.
Lou Genu?
Lou, he's an F1 guy, so.
Lou's a real one. He's an old soul in my mind. He's really fit. I think he'd fit in with this crew if you ever have the time.
I think he's confused. His loyalties to his sports teams are all over the place. Judging by, whatever the last news story he wrote. So
yeah, he's a kid too.
A new breed. Yeah, definitely a new breed for sure, right? Yeah. I used to listen to those guys a lot. I I did not at all subscribe to their collecting habits, but I liked their chemistry, that shows you kind of a good show, right? Like I don't care what you're talking about, just as long as you're talking about something. And I used to listen to them a lot. I don't know why I don't anymore, but Logan's all in with V Friends. Good for you, Logan.
Hawaii National in February.
Yeah.
You think Atlantic City was hard to get to?
Yeah, but if you
know that the industry summit actually started by Kit Young in Hawaii, there's a reason why they don't do it in Hawaii anymore. Hard to get to.
Well, it was just an excuse. It was just an excuse, right?
Yeah, pretty
it
much.
wasn't meant to lock yourselves. If you want to lock yourself into a room and get work done, you go to Des Moines, Iowa. But if it's strictly using it as an excuse to go somewhere nice, then
maybe get together, schmooze, and play golf.
When you're saying that, I was just thinking they need to have the National on a 7-day cruise.
I heard somebody say that, and the problem is, somebody like me who wants to go in for 4 hours and get out, like you wouldn't be able to do that,
I mean, it says something about us, I think, that we're, that we have some excitement about the National coming to Cleveland. I know it's a great town in a lot of ways, but your typical convention crowd is excited about Vegas, Hawaii, Florida, et cetera, right?
Orlando, whatever. Yeah.
We just want to be in the show.
Yeah.
The access.
Yeah. And as everybody says, it's the people. Everybody's got their gang that they like to hang with, which is awesome. You can't, it's hard to find stuff in life. You grow up with people, and that's a bond, but this hobby creates bonds, even for loners like me. So haven't bonded to anybody yet, but we'll see eventually.
Well, the PSA, the set registry has a luncheon or a cocktail party. It's kind of like that. So PSA put that back on again. So to your point, it's great to see those folks again and participate in that.
Did they not do that last year?
They did not.
Okay. No. Well, we'll hit it hard next year. That'll be fun.
The best, for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, it's getting close to putting the kids to bed time, so it's been a blast hanging out.
Is that code for something?
Yeah, I know we're running. We're running here up to close to the end. 10.
Corey, thanks for joining us, because I know you've had some misses lately, but you're so enjoyable to listen to, and you really add quite a dynamic when you're on the show, whether I'm on it or whether I'm watching it. So
that's nice of you to say.
Thanks for making time.
I'm so glad you guys will keep me connected to the hobby, and I hope to be more in it in the months and years ahead. So
love the cards. Yeah.
Regards, everybody. See you.
See you.
All right, man. All right, so it was good seeing you guys Friday. That was fun on stage. So I'm glad we got to do it again so soon. So
now, has that been posted to YouTube or anywhere?
I think John Newman was supposed to get a hold of that and post it. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, obviously he has to wrangle the media from somebody.
So in case people don't know what we're talking about, on Friday morning, we had a 1-hour live edition from the National of Hobby Hotline with, I'd say, about 12 dozen of the regular Hobby Hotline hosts. So it was live streamed by, I think, GTS. And I think eventually it'll wind up somewhere on YouTube. So
yeah, there's some good questions and good answers. It was, I think it was pretty good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thank God the backyard breakers weren't awake yet, so that was a bonus because they were right across the way from us. So we lucked out there.
Yeah, I'd gone by that main stage a few times, and it was rowdy, nuts, and all the kids standing on the chairs. So, yeah.
I'm gonna pour myself a stiff drink here,
I see
fellas.
that.
Get ready for my evening.
Green flavored NyQuil. Yeah.
Death green, green death flavor, right, Dennis Leary? It says, "Don't make any plans" on the side of the bottle. That's what Dennis Leary always said. So cool.
Nice.
Anything
All right,
else?
gentlemen. I don't know if anything else or where folks can find you or if you sign off or
Yeah.
give your info.
I'll be in the Phoenixville Hospital emergency ward tomorrow, probably around 10 a.m. Hooked up to a ventilator. I know
Hopefully
I'm joking.
not.
That's not nice.
Yeah.
That's not nice to say. But anyway, Dan Ryan asked if we ever get sick of people at the National. I'm somebody that typically avoids people, Dan, so it's not hard for me. I don't get sick of people because I tend to avoid people, so it's easy for me.
It's kind of hard to do on like a Thursday or Friday when it's pretty packed.
Yeah, but you just keep moving, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the tables were packed at different points. I left around 12:30 on Friday when it was getting real packed, and I came back Sunday, got there around 1, and it was I'll go off peak any day of the week. But it's such a big show, Dan, that like you always have somewhere to escape to. I think the aisles were bigger, especially around the perimeter, obviously. So it wasn't too bad. The biggest problem I had, and I understand why they do it, is the corporate booths interrupting the aisles, right? Because I like to straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, and then bam, Tops is there or Panini's there. And I understand you have to do it. They're paying a lot of money to be there. So, yeah, it's plenty of places to escape. I didn't have any problem with parking. Everybody said they had problem with parking. I lucked out. Again, I came early on Friday and I came later on Sunday. So,
yeah, I got the 5-day super VIP, super elite pass that comes with free parking. Unfortunately, it's on the other side of the Atlantic City Expressway.
wow, really?
So you have to cross. Well, it's at the end of the Atlantic City Expressway.
Okay, by the outlets or something?
Yeah, by the outlets. You have to cross, and then you have to go along this sidewalk that's full of like 10 years worth of mud and water and trash.
I know exactly where you went.
And it's ugh.
Do you know what Coney Island whitefish are? Did you see any of those?
I did not see any of those.
You should Google that then. You'll get a good
Is
chuckle.
that the same thing as an Allegheny whitefish?
Yeah, of
What
course.
they call them in Pittsburgh.
Gingerville, yeah.
Yeah.
I parked right underneath, man. I parked right underneath. It was the easiest walk in the world. I got in super quick, got out super quick. So, but I was pleasantly surprised. Sorry, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought there was going to be a Pelican Fest, and I ran into a couple of strollers, which was crazy. Again, I don't understand why people are bringing 2-year-olds or 1-year-olds to the floor, but a lot of handheld briefcases, but not a lot of wheelie Pelicans in my observation. So, yeah. And I didn't lose my little white box. I kept it in my backpack, and I did put a air tag in it just in case I lost it, but all good.
So, yeah, if you need a device, you can stop by, come see. And...
Oh, they were giving out boxes? That's fun.
Yeah, and boxes, and of course, they're taking submissions as well. So
they said, I believe they said they took in 100,000 cards, which is good for them, right?
Probably mostly from Dr. Beckett.
Well, he brought a lot home, and I'll tell you because I have some inside information there that he mailed 2 bulk boxes from a post office dangerously close to my house. So I think he went that route. I don't know whether he submitted to them or not, but yeah, he sent back 2 heavy boxes for sure.
He's busy then. Okay.
Yeah, he was busy for sure. He loves his singles for sure. Cool beans.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thanks everybody for watching today, and join in on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I believe Drew will be the engineer there, and Dr. Beckett so far, I believe. So not sure about the other two yet. Haven't made the schedule yet, but those two have committed for that on Saturday. So you don't want to miss Saturday's show at 11 a.m. Eastern. So, all right, guys, good night, and we'll catch you on Saturday.
Chris?
And keep on rocking in the free world.
Nailed it, dude.